Hey everyone, I'm Alex.
And I'm Courtney, and this is Nerds at Odds.
Nerds at Odds is your weekly podcast about all things in nerd culture and beyond.
I'd like to remind everyone to please rate and review the podcast anywhere you listen.
And if you want to check us out on Instagram and Twitter, we're at Nerds at Odds. And we also have a Twitch and YouTube channel you can check out. Both of those are also at Nerds at Odds. And if you want to get the show 4 days early, ad-free, and with the ability to submit your questions, comments, and concerns, head on over to patreon.com/Nerds at Odds. Now let's hop on into what we've been up to. Courtney, what have you been doing?
I've been playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla some more.
You're about, 30 hours in or so?
Yeah, about.
What have you been doing recently in the game?
I got into a committed relationship
Fun.
with, I think her name is Petra.
I believe so, yes.
And she's a huntsman.
Okay. And what you've been doing in the game, though, you've been doing all the side activities, clearing up the map in the starting location still.
Yes, because I hate doing quests. I only like to do the side quests, or I guess the mysteries at this point, and those sorts of things. Those are the fun things for me. The quests are, kind of boring.
Well, to be fair, you've set up your village, but you haven't done a single quest after that in the main story. It's like, go here and meet with this leader of this area.
I've done some of that. I did the guy with the bear. Did him.
But those are side quests. That's what I'm saying.
Well, no, that wasn't a mystery. That was just it was like, hey, it's like one of those letter things. It was like, hey, try and find this dude. He'll be good if you can get him on our side, sort of situation. But there's so much stuff to build and in the village, and you need the materials to do so, and you have to raid to get those materials. But some of these places are way over my level, so I can't raid. So it's a little difficult.
Yeah, you might need to start doing those quests to get XP to level up, to raid, to continue building your village. I think you're
quite you. I get plenty of XP from doing mysteries and stuff.
You're running out of those though. You're clearing out this area. Eventually.
Well, I'll clear it out, and then when I get finished, then I'll move on to something else. I can do a quest in between.
So you still enjoying the game though?
Yeah, every once in a while I'll get maybe a little motion sick or something after playing for a good while, but most of the time I'm fine.
That's weird. Do you think it's better than Odyssey?
No.
No, you think Odyssey's a better game?
I like the combat better in Odyssey. I like clearing the map better in Odyssey.
Interesting. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
I don't know.
You don't know? But you like clearing the map better.
I feel like there's things just gameplay wise that I like better.
Okay, I can get that. Well, maybe the next Assassin's Creed game will be made by the same studio who made Odyssey, so you can enjoy that.
Who knows?
Where do you see the setting for the next game taking place?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd like them to do a serious one in China or Japan, something along those lines, because they have the spin-off one that's only 2D essentially. Yeah. And I don't think that's good enough.
I think that China would be a cool entry. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4 and 5 is pretty much Assassin's Creed in Japan. So I feel like they would be competing with that if they made one in Japan. So China is an interesting...
They could do China, they could do maybe some cool Russia stuff.
Yeah.
They could do Spain. Have they done Spain? I think they did Spain.
They've done Spain.
They did Italy, right?
They've done Italy. Yeah, Ezio's in Italy in the Renaissance, and then Unity's in the French Revolution, and Syndicate's in Industrial Revolution England, but they haven't done Spain. I'm not sure when they would set it. They could set it back in medieval times where the Spain was conquered by the Muslims. That could be an interesting time period to set it.
Sure.
Or if they set it, I don't know if they would go into the 1900s with it and set it during the Spanish Civil War. That might be a bit too modern for them. But we'll see.
Who knows?
Yeah. And I've been playing more Destiny 2 Beyond Light, which is, I think, the most fun Destiny has ever been. I think you should definitely jump into it. Most of the same things I said last week apply to today. Still getting them quests, getting that XP. Fun times.
Sure.
And I tried out Amazon Luna today, and I've been trying to try it out for the past few days, but Amazon's site is not being responsive enough to check it out. I think I'm going to blame Black Friday for that. Luna's another streaming service like Google Stadia, though the pricing models are the difference here. Google Stadia, you pay monthly to access like the 4K 60 frame streaming options, and you get some games, like a dozen or so, for free with the subscription, but then you buy each game for full price after that, right?
Yes.
Which doesn't seem like a great model, because if Google ever shuts Stadia down, you can't get those games you bought, you know?
Yes.
And Amazon's model is what's interesting about Luna, because you pay $5.99 a month, and then you get this much larger selection of games like a Netflix series. And then other developers have their own channels, like Ubisoft has a channel where you pay monthly, but you get all their games, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's an interesting model. I think Ubisoft's price is $14.99 a month, which is too much, I believe, for a channel. I think each channel should probably be about the same, $5.99 or so. Though, we have good internet as opposed to the vast majority of people in this country, in the United States, and especially around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And these streaming services don't work well for us still. It's too laggy to play on. Stadia doesn't work, Luna doesn't work well enough to play, PlayStation Now doesn't work well enough to play. So, we've been watching some Disney films in preparation for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing I could think of that we've done that's noteworthy is we've been watching Weakest Link on Hulu.
Yes.
The remake with Jane Lynch.
Yes.
I think they're 10 episodes in right now. It's in its first season. I really enjoy it.
Jane Lynch is great. She definitely portrays that character very well. I don't think she's that mean in real life.
Yeah, she's acting like that.
But she definitely plays that character very well. And we have been competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And we are tied right now.
Yeah.
For who's done the best.
Yeah.
We only do like the last round. And we both keep track of how many questions we get right. And I trashed you one day.
Yeah, 3-6.
3-6.
Yeah. But we are tied. We've watched 7, 8 episodes now.
Yeah.
We haven't watched all that's out, but so that's what we've been doing. And now let's talk about the latest episode of Mandalorian before we get on into the topic. Spoiler free. We're going to do a spoiler review of all the episodes once the season ends in about a month. Check back for that if you're interested in that. But episode 5, season 2, we finally meet the person that I've been waiting this whole season to meet.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like it was very much worth it.
I thought that episode was kind of anticlimactic.
Well, I think
it's like we get there, we meet the person, and then they're like, can't do it.
I think the problem, I agree that in a way it is kind of anticlimactic. Though they mention someone that it might be like the big bad guy, you know?
Yeah, but most people don't even know who that is.
Yeah, that is fair. Though I feel like you should watch Rebels because it's a great show.
But but it's just like, oh, where's this person? And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And if you didn't tell me, I wouldn't have known.
Though I feel like it's anticlimactic because nothing changes about the relationship between him and the child, right?
Uh-huh.
And I think that's probably because the show doesn't want it to become about this person and stay with the Mandalorian, you know?
I was really hoping that we would get more information about that surprise character we saw in the first episode at the very end.
Who hasn't come back yet.
We haven't seen anything yet. What's going on?
Do you think that person's gonna actually show back up?
They got to. It was such a cliffhanger part.
Yeah, I feel like it is. Well, to be honest, so the cliffhanger at the end of season 1 with the guy, you know, with the weapon he has?
Yeah.
They haven't touched on that yet.
They kind of have.
That's like
They've talked about him.
Yeah, they've shown a little scene of him, and there's been some mention of him, right?
Yeah.
But that was like the climax of last season,
Well,
right?
he's the big bad guy, clearly.
I don't think so. Not after this episode.
Well, I don't know what the other guy does,
Co-
so it doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is, I'm not that crazy of a Star Wars fan. I don't know who this is. It means nothing to me. They're just mention some dude's name, and it means nothing to me.
Yeah. So last thing on this, I feel like it has the potential to be super exciting, but I feel like if they actually do end up going that way, it is going to lose focus of the Mandalorian and the child. So I don't know if they're going to take this super exciting route because they want to focus on those characters, right?
I suppose.
If you like listening to podcasts about things in nerd culture, you might enjoy listening to audiobooks that can transport you away on grand adventures to exciting worlds, all while you go about your daily tasks like driving, cooking, and cleaning. Audible is the perfect place for you to find epic tales, and right now, all listeners can get a 30-day free trial by going to audibletrial.com/nerdsatodds. I'm currently listening to Dune by Frank Herbert in preparation for the movie that comes out later this year, and it has really helped me fight the boredom induced by this pandemic. Audible has thousands of audiobooks available, and the best part is that with your free 30-day trial, you can download and listen to them all for free. So go to audible.com/nerdsatodds to get listening today. So into the topic of the show, Disney Animated Film Review Part 2.
Yes.
Last episode was Part 1. We did the Gold, Silver, and Bronze Age. This episode, Part 2, Renaissance to today.
Mm-hmm.
And then at the end of this, where we talk about these movies, I'm going to give my official list of all 46 movies we watched and reviewed in order, from worst to best.
Worst to best?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you want to introduce the first movie?
We're going to start with the Renaissance era. Kicking off the Renaissance era, 1989's The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid, I thought, was very good. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, but once we started watching it, hearing the songs that are in it, I remember a lot of them more than I thought I did. I thought the songs were the most captivating part of the movie, however. Ursula's an interesting villain.
I love Ursula.
Though I feel like there were some parts I was just like, whatever. I didn't really connect with Ariel's drama.
Well, that's because you're a boy.
Yeah. I gave Little Mermaid an excellent, and out of the 27 films from the Renaissance to today that we're ranking, I gave it's the 6th best film we watched for this part.
Okay. Next we got Beauty and the Beast from 1991.
Beauty and the Beast I liked a lot as well. The songs were good. I think Little Mermaid songs were better. And I felt like Beauty and the Beast perhaps might be a bit more on the romance, love storyline, something that I connect with less than some of these other films. Though I think for that reason, it hurts the movie for me a little bit. I still think it's entertaining because the songs are really well done. And I think it's the 12th best film out of these 27 for this part.
How dare you?
Yeah, I think that when we
Listen, my nostalgia factor plays in highly with Beauty and the Beast. I connect so much with the character. I love Belle. I love the whole movie.
Mm-hmm.
I realize that you're not going to be the same as me, but how dare you put it at 12?
Well, I think you just have to take into account the 11 films that are going to come above it. So.
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Alright. 1992, Aladdin.
Aladdin. This is the second time I've watched Aladdin as an adult. I watched it for
You took a class, right?
Yeah, I forget what the class was. Might have been medieval history, though I don't know why we would have watched it, but I think that was the class I watched in college. So, I've watched this twice as an adult, once for this list, once backing that class. Watching this movie made me realize, like some of the other films that have live-action remakes did, watching this movie made me realize how bad that live-action remake actually was. Because Aladdin is so great. The songs are great. I like the story.
Jasmine is so much more... I feel like she's so much more, like, headstrong in the animated version than she is in the live-action version.
Yeah, I could feel that. I think the worst part, and this is one that you can't really hold against the live-action film, but I think it's something that boosts the animated film, is that Robin Williams as the genie is so much better than Will Smith's version.
Well,
not because Will Smith is bad, but because Robin Williams does such a great job.
Robin Williams does a great job. I don't think you can hold it against the remake that Will Smith is not Robin Williams, because no one will be Robin Williams. No, he didn't try to like redo the genie. He didn't try to be Robin Williams' genie. He wanted to be his own genie. And they're clearly different characters in my mind.
Yeah, and that's something we can talk about more when we do our live action film review. But I think Robin Williams' performance as the genie helps Aladdin be an excellent film, and it is the number 2 film out of these 27.
Sure. Next we got The Lion King, 1994.
The Lion King, I think it is safe to say, and I think this is far and away the best Disney animated movie.
Nostalgia plays in a lot here for Alex.
Perhaps. I mean, again, I think Lion King is it's such in the zeitgeist of the culture that regardless of when you watch the film, you know Lion King. You know everything about the Lion King. I don't remember when I watched this film. And I haven't watched this film for probably 10, 15 years now, until this one viewing. And I didn't remember watching it. I can't tell you when the last time I watched this film is. But I think that just knowing everything about it, because it's such a cultural, impactful movie, makes it hard to not enjoy elements of it. Though I feel like there's a lot of things going for Lion King that most of these movies don't have. One, it has the best songs, in my opinion. Elton John is one of the greatest musicians of all time when it comes to songwriting. And somehow he gave some of the best songs he's ever written to this movie.
I don't think you should say that.
In my opinion, I love Elton John. I think if you were to make a list of like his top 10 best songs, a couple from Lion King are going to be in there.
I mean, obviously, Can You Feel the Love Tonight is a great song.
Yeah.
I do love this movie. Mm-hmm. However, I don't love it as much as you do.
And I think another thing that helps it for me is that the story is so epic, right? And we researched this, and apparently it is not a adaptation of Hamlet. It's its own story. And
it's influenced by Hamlet and like a Bible story and something else, I think, but it is its own thing.
Yeah, it's considered Disney's first original movie.
Yes.
And going forward still, I think that it is one of Disney's few original movies. That helps it out a lot when it comes to Disney animated films as an adaptation of something. So I think the songs, the impact, and the story help it be the best Disney movie. It's number 1 out of these 27.
Next, we've got Pocahontas, 1995.
Pocahontas is kind of boring, honestly. I understand why they changed the story from being historical to what it is now. I don't know, I didn't enjoy it that much. It's one of those films you're watching it and I'm like, I'm having fun, the songs are good. Wow, we've only watched 40 minutes of this movie. Okay, let's get through it again. I felt like it dragged in some parts. I gave it an entertaining because I did like the songs and parts of the story were there for me. It's the 17th out of these 27 for me.
Okay. I like Pocahontas, but sure. Next we've got The Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1996.
The Hunchback of Notre Dame, I'm not a fan of the story. I'm really not a fan of the songs, because they do the thing I hate where most of the songs are just them singing lines they are saying, not really singing song. They're trying to say a line and they sing it instead, kind of like, I don't know, an opera musical type deal.
Sure.
It's off-putting. I hate it when that happens. So the songs aren't good. And that wouldn't be a real problem if the movie wasn't a musical, but like all the movies in the Renaissance era, it is a musical. So that hurts it a lot. I don't really like the story. I don't know. It's entertaining, but barely so, I suppose. So it's the 24th out of these 27.
Okay. How dare you? Hellfire's great. I will say, The Hunchback of Notre Dame is really upsetting to me because you watch the movie and you just want Quasimodo to have a happy ending, and Esmeralda goes with Phoebus instead, and you're just like, how dare you, Esmeralda? How dare you? I think it should go higher, personally, because I love Esmeralda, I love Quasimodo, I love the villain, which is...
Kyrie something?
His name is not Kyrie.
It's not Kyrie?
No, Kyrie is the female protagonist from Kingdom Hearts.
Oh.
His name is like Frollo.
Yeah, Frollo's his name. I don't know why
not Kyrie.
I don't know where I got Kyrie from.
But sure. This is your list.
Yeah.
People don't get mad at me. Okay? This is his list. Alright, next we have Hercules, 1997.
Hercules, I think, is an entertaining story. Though the thing that hurts it the most is that I hate every song in this movie.
How dare you?
I don't think any of them are good songs. It's kind of like Hercules' songs, I think, are a lot like the songs in Phantom of the Opera in a way, where they're not really songs, they're just them singing some verses. You know,
no.
I don't like the songs in Hercules much. The only one I like that I can think of off the top of my head is the Fate song.
Which one? All the Fates sing all of the songs.
I'd have to look through a playlist.
Is it the one like I Won't Say I'm in Love? That one's great.
Nah.
Is like it the Who Puts the Glad in Gladiator? Hercules.
Yeah, I think that one. Is that the one where they're singing about like his merch and stuff? When he's yeah, I like that one. That's the one I like.
That one's great. I love the I Won't Say I'm in Love. Fantastic. I sing that one frequently. There's just so many good songs. How dare you?
I don't like any of the songs in this movie.
Or like the Find Where I Belong. I don't know. The Belong, I think, is what it's called. Love it.
But I think what happens in the movie is entertaining. Just the songs hurt it. It's an entertaining film. It's number 9 for me.
I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what's wrong with him.
Oh, wait till you get to some of my post-Renaissance opinions.
Listen, there is some bad opinions here, in my opinion. So we'll see. If you guys agree with him, good on you.
Congrats for being correct.
How dare you? All right, now we have Mulan, 1998.
Mulan is an excellent film, and it really does show how bad that live-action remake was.
Mm-hmm.
Mulan has great songs.
Yes.
It has a great story.
Yes.
It has characters I like.
Yes.
And that's the trifecta for a great Disney film. I put it at number 5. Just because I feel like the 4 films above it have some better songs and moments. But Mulan is an excellent film. It's one of Disney's greatest movies.
He's like hedging all of this on the songs, guys.
I'm not really, because you'll see when I get down to what my 3rd film is, there's no songs in it. So...
whatever, but you lean heavily on songs if it's like a musical sort of thing, and I think your opinions are wrong. Next, we have Tarzan, 1999.
Tarzan is another excellent film. They lost their way maybe in the middle of this Renaissance, as opposed to the films that came before and last. Like Pocahontas, Hunchback, Hercules, or like entertaining average movies, but Mulan and Tarzan close out the Renaissance amazingly. Tarzan, I think, has better songs than Mulan, and that might just come from Phil Collins writing those songs.
Sure.
And much like Elton John, Phil Collins has wrote some amazing songs, but if you're going to take a top 10 list of Phil Collins songs, some of these Tarzan songs are going to be in there. And those two artists gave such wonderful performances to these animated films that they did not need to give that much effort to, but they decided to, and I respect them for that.
Sure.
Tarzan has an amazing story. It has one of my favorite moments in maybe movie history is when Tarzan falls down the pit with that jaguar, and like the jaguar comes up first, but it's him lifting it. I love that moment. The songs are great. It's my 4th favorite out of these 27 movies.
Okay. Now, that is the end of the Renaissance
Yes.
era. Now we're going to get into the post-Renaissance era.
Well, real quick before we do that.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Best of the era's Lion King. I think, obviously. You know, we all agree. Greatest movie. Animated movie ever made. Next, the worst of the era is The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
How dare you?
Well, what would you... Out of these, what's your worst of the era?
Of the era?
Yeah. It's harder than it looks, huh?
No comment. This isn't about me.
Courtney agrees with Hunchback as the worst of the era, is what I'm hearing.
No, I just can't decide. I love them all.
Okay, post-Renaissance now.
Okay, post-Renaissance era. You got some hits, you got some definite misses in this era.
You got some misses. I tell you what.
Okay. It's like they were trying to find their footing, trying to go from 2D to 3D and like to learn to use that well.
I don't understand how that made them have worse story writing as well in some of these, but I guess it did.
I don't know. They used too much of their budget. Who knows? All right. We're going to start things off with 2000's Dinosaur.
Dinosaur, surprisingly, once you get past the horrid look of this film from the dated CGI.
The worst part is it looks like they're using, I'm pretty sure they're using like
real backgrounds.
Yes. And then
CGI characters.
Like plastic looking dinosaurs. And the poor lemurs, man, they look awful.
Yeah, the characters look awful, and it is made worse by them using real backgrounds in a lot of shots.
Especially when it's like lush.
Yeah.
You know?
Did you have those hand things with the dinosaur's face on it back when you were a kid that you moved with?
Yeah.
The quality of those hand things is like the quality of these character models.
They look about the same.
Yeah, if you filmed a movie where you just saw that hand thing talking, right, against a real background, and that was like the character talking, that looks about as bad as this movie actually looks. It's really dated. It's hard to watch now. Though we read IMDb and Rotten Tomato reviews from the time.
Oh, people thought the animation was fantastic.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
I'm like, what are you seeing?
Somebody was like, this will never look bad in one of their reviews. And I'm like, dude, this probably looked bad the next year. This looks worse than the prequels. Like, this is horrid.
I don't think it looks worse than the prequels. It definitely does not look worse than the prequels. It's hard to watch at times. Yeah. But it's still not that bad.
I have to give Dinosaur some credit, though. Once you get past how hard it looks, I thought the story was pretty good.
The story's a little lacking, in my opinion.
I gave it an average.
It's just like these dinosaurs are being mean for no reason. Yeah. Like the herbivores. Mm-hmm. Not the what were they called?
It's not the T-Rexes. They're the
They're like carnitors.
Yeah, I think it's the name of them.
Like the carnitors, whatever. I guess because they eat meat, they're bad. Mm-hmm. But like the leader herbivores, whatever their names were, they're just like mean for the sake of being mean, mm-hmm. and they won't listen to anybody. And then like the main dinosaur does something good, and they're like, "Well, get out of the way."
Yeah, I think the story is much better than the animation, right? And I guess I was just surprised, but I think it's an average film. Once you get past the visuals, I think it's worth your time to watch, story-wise. It's 25th out of 27.
Okay. Next we have another one from 2000. Mm-hmm. Emperor's New Groove, opposite end of the spectrum.
Well, this is 2D.
This is 2D.
So I think they might have had just two teams making two films.
Sure. I feel like they're worse, because they've been throwing in a little bit of those, like, CG shots.
Yeah. Little Mermaid was the first Disney movie to use Pixar's CGI technology. Yeah, and you can see it in that stair scene.
They, like, throw it in every once in a while with some of these movies. I think Emperor's New Groove, they throw it in a little bit.
Yeah, I think Emperor's New Groove is very fun to watch. I don't think it's an excellent movie. It's not, Oscar worthy over here like some of these other Disney animated films could be with its content.
But it's so funny.
It's so funny. Kronk is so good and I love him in every movie he's in.
Is he doing his own theme music?
The voice actor, every movie he's in, he's great.
Oh yeah.
Emperor's New Groove is great. I like the show too, or at least I remember liking the show as a kid. Emperor's New School. I really liked that show as a kid. Kronk's New Groove, right? It's the name of the sequel.
Yes.
We have to watch that whenever we do a sequel movie review episode.
Are we gonna do only the first sequel, or are we gonna do all the sequels?
Depending on how many, we might do all of them.
Because, like, Cinderella has, like, 2 sequels.
Yeah.
Both of them are bad.
Yeah.
The Rescuers has a sequel. It's alright.
Yeah. So, Emperor's New Groove, I gave an entertaining to. It's 7th out of these 27 films for me.
Okay. Next we have Atlantis from 2001.
Atlantis is really good. It actually hurt me to put it as low as I did on the list, but I guess that's just a shout out to the quality of the films above it. And I feel like the last 20 minutes or so of the film kind of drag on for a bit. I think you could have cut out 15-20 minutes of this movie.
Well, like the fighting?
Maybe. I guess that's what it's at the end. I just
where they're in the volcano.
Yeah, I just get at the end of the film, I felt like it was going on for a bit long. Maybe you should have cut out some in the beginning. I don't know.
Listen, I don't care. Kida is one of my favorite Disney princesses. She's snubbed. She is not technically a Disney princess, but she is technically.
I mean, she meets all the criteria except for the film doing well.
Yeah, the money. The money.
I like Atlantis. Atlantis is an entertaining film. I'd watch it, you know, at least once a year.
How dare you put this movie so low when our lovely cat is named after one of the main characters?
Yeah. It's 18th out of the 27 films.
Rude. Next we have Lilo and Stitch from 2002.
Lilo and Stitch is a very fun movie. I think it's an entertaining film. That's what I'm going to give it on the Patent Nerds at Odds rating scale.
Oh, God.
And it's 19th out of 27. And I think I put it there just because it feels very un-Disney. And it's a Disney animated films review.
I mean, it doesn't feel like Disney, but does Zootopia feel like Disney? No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It feels like Pixar.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe we can have this argument when we get to the revival, because I think every revival film feels like Pixar.
Maybe.
But I think Lilo and Stitch is very action-packed, right?
Uh-huh.
And the space aliens...
Listen, it's a weird Disney movie.
Yeah,
but
it's very entertaining.
So is Chicken Little.
Yeah. Oh, we'll talk about Chicken Little when we get to Chicken Little. Lilo and Stitch is very entertaining. I put it at 19th. But I really love Lilo and Stitch, the brand as well. Everything, the other movies, the show, all that, I loved that as a kid.
I think there's 2 Lilo and Stitch movies. And I think to watch those, we might need to watch the show some.
Yeah. But I do really like it. You should watch Lilo and Stitch if you haven't. It's entertaining, but I did put it at 19th on this list.
Alright, Treasure Planet from 2002.
This might be some nostalgia talking, but Treasure Planet is a great movie.
I love Treasure Planet. I think it's one of the great post-Renaissance movies that Disney has.
Yeah.
One of the great 2D that it has.
Yeah. I think Treasure Planet did poorly because it's 2D, from what we've read.
Yeah.
People were like, oh, let's watch 3D. 2D's old, you know?
Yeah, it's a shame. And you can see it affecting some of the other movies on this list when they were also 2D. But I love Treasure Planet. I loved watching it. I loved the cat captain and the dog scientist dude. And
it's somehow it's based on Treasure Island.
Yes.
But somehow it's so unique with all how they adapt that to this outer space version of the movie. I think it's very unique. All the character designs, the ships, and all that.
Yes.
I really like it for that as well. And I think it's a great story. I mean, it's based off Treasure Island. So, I mean, obviously it's going to be a good story, you know? People know that story. It's a classic. And I just think it's unique how they adapted it. It's a really well done movie. Y'all should watch it if you haven't already.
Next we have...
it's entertaining, and it's 8th out of 27.
Okay. Next we have Brother Bear from 2003. You'd never seen this movie, right?
I've not seen it.
Well, what'd you think?
Disney. Let me holler at you real quick, Disney. Listen up. Who decided to put the first 30 minutes of this movie on what appears to be a airline TV screen that takes up a quarter of the screen. Who decided this? Why? You guys need to fix this immediately.
It was done on purpose because that's how they did it in theaters. Once he becomes the bear, then it gets larger.
Yeah, that's dumb. Listen, Disney, I hope that guy's fired. Okay? I hope you fire that guy who came up with that decision.
It's supposed to be like, oh, his eyes are opening to a different world.
I understand why.
I think it's so they can do, like, when they do the flashbacks.
Yeah.
That, like, clearly he's focused on the bear,
Mm-hmm.
but if he, like, opened up his vision more, he would have seen the cub.
I get it. I get the idea. I hate it. Okay? It did take away from the movie.
I think it's fine. Listen, it's interesting. Plenty of movies do stuff like that. You see it all the time in theaters.
I didn't like it. Anyways, that's not the biggest problem. I think Brother Bear is a conflicting movie for me. Maybe the most conflicting movie out of all of these for me. Because I really love the message that it's sending.
Yes.
I don't really care about messages in movies when they're supposed to be fun, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't really care what Emperor's New Groove is trying to tell me. But Brother Bear's not a fun movie. It's one that's there for the message. I really liked it, but I thought it was boring.
It is a fun movie.
No, I thought it was boring at parts.
Rick Moranis is in it. He's great.
Yeah, it tries to be fun. I thought the moose with Rick Moranis were dumb humor. It's lowbrow humor that this.
I love them.
I thought it was a little lowbrow for this movie.
Let me drive.
I love lowbrow humor when it's appropriate, but this movie has a serious message that's trying to get across, and I thought the humor was a little misplaced. I thought it was maybe an average film with an excellent message. I gave it an entertaining, but it is 23rd on this list out of these 27.
Okay. Next, we have Home on the Range, 2004.
Disney. Let me holler at you, Disney. Who greenlit the next two movies on this list? Who greenlit these things? Listen, Home on the Range. I give it a mediocre because, like I said, I like lowbrow humor.
Yes.
And this is a dumb movie where lowbrow humor helps it a little bit be entertaining. Because this was one that I saw Courtney probably about falling asleep trying to watch. This isn't a great movie, but it got some chuckles out of me for how dumb it was at points.
I was sitting there watching. I'm like, oh, that dumb joke, and Alex is sitting over like, ha 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 ha.
Yeah, I thought they worked in this movie. I gave it a mediocre.
It's like, oh, the cow, that one cow, she doesn't follow under the yodeling spell because she's tone deaf.
Yeah. Oh, that's the worst part of that sentence you just said. The dumbest part of that sentence is that she's tone deaf, not that the plot of this movie is a yodeling spell.
And then, like, that dude that was sitting on the couch blocking with his head a piece on the map, and it just happens to be the exact shape as his head.
This movie's really dumb. I don't think I'd watch it again. And,
no.
And, like, nothing happens for a while, and they introduce my favorite character with 15 minutes left, that Jackrabbit.
Mm-hmm.
It's mediocre. It's the 26th out of these 27.
Okay. Next, we have Chicken Little from 2005.
Oh, Jesus. Alright, Chicken Little.
They spent all the budget on the music.
Yeah, this is... Listen, Disney got Elton John to write all the great songs in Lion King. For that movie. He wrote those songs for that movie. They got Phil Collins to write all the great songs in Tarzan for that movie. Disney somehow forgot, in the 6 years between Tarzan and Chicken Little, that you can hire great musicians to make great songs that fit your movie. They decided to go out and buy a soundtrack for Chicken Little. Just pick and choose whatever songs you want, really. Because they don't really fit the moments they're in half the time.
No, it's like, they're playing karaoke. Let's put in the what is it song?
Won't Go Breaking Your Heart.
No,
If You Want to Be My Lover.
Yeah. They put that in. It's real weird for, like, maybe a 10-year-old animal creature.
I thought they were high schoolers.
I don't know. They're
don't...
probably middle schoolers, let's be honest.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
They're singing this, and it's real weird.
Yeah.
And then
the worst part for me is the pig, right? Whatever his name is.
Runt.
He sings two different songs about surviving. He sings Staying Alive, You know, he wants to stay alive in this alien ship.
Yeah.
And then he's singing I Will Survive because he wants to survive. These songs don't really fit the scenes. The titles kind of fit what's going on in the movie, I guess, at the time. But they're not really well used. I don't like the soundtrack to this film. I thought they were trying to buy themselves a banger of a soundtrack and failed. The animation is ugly. The first 15 minutes of Chicken Little should have been the movie. Because they could have made it a decent movie. You know, he doesn't fit in. He wants to play baseball to fit in. He, you know, some of these, you know, high school drama movie where, you know, he learns that he doesn't need to do these things to fit in, right? That should have been the movie. The aliens are dumb. I hate them. Though that's the cutest part.
Yeah, so the two best characters in the movie don't actually speak.
The fish.
The fish.
And the baby alien.
Whose name is Fish Out of Water.
Yeah.
And then the baby alien, I don't know if it had a name.
I don't know either. I am going to come out and say it. This is 27th out of these 27. This is also 46 out of 46. This is the worst Disney animated film ever made. It is awful. It's god-awful.
It's really bad. Next, we have Meet the Robinsons from 2007. You'd never seen it before, right?
No, I had seen this one.
You had
before.
seen this
Somewhere in my childhood, I remember seeing it because I remember the caffeine patch lady.
Yes.
And I remember the story. Every element of the story I remembered somehow. But I really liked the message of this movie as well, right? I connected with Lewis, and I liked the movie. I don't think it's a Oscar like quality film, right?
No, but it's got some great memeable moments.
Yeah, it's funny and it's uplifting, heartwarming, right? I gave it an excellent, but it's an excellent because I really enjoyed it. It's not an excellent because it's a well-made movie. I don't think it looks great. It looks much better than Chicken Little, but I feel like it doesn't look great. I don't like the characters, models that much.
They're very smooth.
Yeah. But I gave it an excellent. But it's an excellent that's 16th out of 27 on this list.
I think the message of this movie is like, it doesn't matter who your family is, you can choose your family. Yeah. You know, people are like, oh, you can't choose your family. You can't. You can decide not to associate with people anymore. I mean, I love my family, but you can also like choose, like your friends become your family. Your significant other, and maybe their family becomes your family.
And I also guess, like, Lewis is trying to find a place where he belongs in a way.
Mm.
And I feel like he ends up creating a place where he can belong, you know?
Yeah.
So I enjoyed it a lot. It's 16th, but I do think it's an excellent film for me at least.
All right, next we have Bolt from 2008.
I think Bolt's a step back in quality from Meet the Robinsons. It's closer to this Home on the Range side, though I felt like I like the characters in Bolt a lot more. I like the cat and the hamster.
Uh-huh.
I like them a lot more. It's not as dumb as Home on the Range. I thought it was entertaining to watch, but it's 21 out of 27.
How dare you put this movie above Hunchback of Notre Dame?
This movie's more entertaining than Hunchback of Notre Dame.
How dare you?
Hunchback of Notre Dame is not as a fun watch as this movie.
I can't believe you've done this to me.
Is this the first one I've put above Hunchback that you don't agree with?
Maybe.
The only other one so far that I've put above Hunchback is, well, the Bear in this. Well, I mean, a lot in this list.
Yeah, well, Brother Bear, like, I could see it. And, like, some, you know.
Yeah.
I like a lot of these movies. But how dare you? Next we have Princess and the Frog from 2009.
It's the last post-Renaissance movie and the last 2D Disney movie to be made.
Yes.
I like Princess and the Frog. I like the New Orleans
vibe.
I like the characters. The villain, I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Dr. Felicier.
Yeah, something like that. Great guy. Like, not a great guy. Great villain. He's a great villain. You know, top-notch character.
Great guy. Real humanitarian.
No, he's a great villain. I like the main character a lot. I feel like this movie needs to get more love than it does. It needs to get more love than it does.
Well, I feel like a thing that hurts this movie for a lot of like maybe critics and people is that like it's mainly starring a like colored cast. And it's like the first time Disney really did that.
Yeah.
You know? Like Pocahontas, sure, but you still have like John Smith and he's kind of a protagonist.
First all-colored cast is Lilo and Stitch. Or Brother Bear.
Yeah, but people didn't like those.
Yeah, I suppose. I think Princess and the Frog, for me, what hurts it is it does do songs, and I don't think they're that memorable.
How dare you?
My favorite song is the one the Voodoo Woman does.
You gotta dig a little deeper.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
What about I Got Friends on the Other Side that Dr. Felicia sings? You've got the song, where Ray is singing to the star that he thinks is a firefly, and he's like, "My dear Evangeline." I love that one.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like maybe it drags a little bit in some places. You know, Disney's not at the top of the game post-Renaissance. I feel like if this movie was made in the 90s with that crew, it would have been a much better movie.
I don't know.
I still think it's entertaining.
I love Princess and the Frog, and I hate that people are like, it's 2D.
Yeah, so Princess and the Frog is entertaining, and I put it 20th out of these 27.
What's the crocodile's name again?
I don't remember.
I don't remember his name. Listen, I love this movie. I love Ray. I love Tiana. I love the man. I forget his name.
That dude.
That prince. They're all interchangeable. They don't matter. Next we have...
No, that's it for the post-Renaissance.
That's the end for the post-Renaissance.
Best of era, Emperor's New Groove. Worst of era, Chicken Little. Do you agree with any of that?
Sure.
Sure?
Sure.
You're not going to argue worst of era is anything other than Chicken Little, are you?
No.
No?
Nope.
No, best of era you might argue a little bit?
Perhaps.
Give it a dinosaur?
No.
No.
Alright. So that's the end of the post-Renaissance era.
Nerds at Odds is made possible by our supporters over on patreon.com/nerds at odds. If you want to become a member of our community and gain access to the show 4 days early, gain the ability to submit your questions, comments, and concerns, and so much more, consider supporting us over there. Thank you.
Now we have the last era that we are in currently,
Yes.
and that is the revival era.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to see when they decide to end, when the end of the revival era will be, and it's gonna be like a downward spiral for Disney, I think.
You think
it's
so?
like, because revival means like renewal,
Yeah.
and these are good movies.
I think we need to have a discussion up top about something you talked about earlier. That, thinking about it, and this is the first time I've ever thought about it, these movies are heavily influenced by Pixar.
Yes.
These are not, like, none of these are classic Disney movies. The last classic Disney movie, I think, is Princess and the Frog. Like, post-Renaissance, I think, is the time where Disney's like, classic Disney, heavily Pixar influenced. You know, like, back and forth a little bit.
Yeah.
And now Revival, they're like, all of these, heavily Pixar influenced. Also, this is the longest we've went in modern history without a new Disney film. Like, Moana came out in 2016. The next original Disney animated film comes out in 2021.
I just noticed the typo.
Where? Oh, it's Mosna.
Mosna.
Yeah, well, the new movie Raya and the Land of the Dragons or something like that comes out March of next year. And it looks interesting.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. They might put it on Disney Plus, who knows? They're putting Soul, the newest Pixar movie on Disney Plus for free on Christmas. So.
Yeah, but like they're not putting up Black Widow.
True. We'll see if Raya is going to be a revival movie or not. It's interesting to think about these as more Pixar than Disney movies.
Yeah, well, I mean, some where you're like, well, it's a classic fairy tale.
Yeah.
Obviously Disney. Others where you're like, well, this is clearly like Pixar inspired.
I think I think Disney loses something that makes them Disney when they don't hand draw their movies.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, maybe it's not hand drawn today, but when it's not 2D drawn on like a computer animated like that.
I don't know. I love some of these movies. I think
do
they're
too.
Great. So I think you're wrong, but there are ones where it's clearly Pixar inspired heavily, and then there's the ones where it's like still, you know, the classic sort of get the fairy tale going situation. So we're gonna start with Tangled, 2010.
Yep.
I watched this movie first, not in theaters, but at a friend's house when we went to go do a school project, and then we watched Tangled.
I like Tangled a lot. The characters are great. The horse and the chameleon are my favorite parts of this movie.
Yes.
I think it's more Disney than Pixar because of the story. I guess it's a fairy tale.
Yes.
It's Rapunzel, right?
I love the songs. Yes, it is Rapunzel. That is her name.
Yeah.
Her name is not Tangled.
No. You sure?
Frequently when doing these movies, Alex will ask, so Tangled, and he's talking about the princess, and he calls her Tangled or something, or Brave, you know, instead of Merida.
I like the story is good. I like the villain, the witch mother person. So the characters,
Mother Gothel.
Yeah, the villain, the characters, the songs are pretty good. I think it's entertaining. It's the 14th out of 27 for me.
I think here's a reason why some of these feel a little Pixar-y, in my opinion, is Pixar does like the one word titles. And you can see that starting to happen more. Like, you've got Bolt, but like, you've got Tangled, Brave. I mean, that's Pixar, but Frozen, Zootopia, Moana. It's like, you know.
And the art style.
The art style as well.
They look closer to Pixar.
I love Tangled. I love a lot of the songs. I love Eugene, aka Flynn Rider.
Oh, yeah. He's good, too.
And I, you know, being from a small town, never really going out much, you know, even at college, I didn't go out. I feel for Rapunzel, you know? It's not like I was held captive in my home, but it's like, well, I guess I'll just read and watch TV and do a bunch of random stuff.
So next on the list is a Pixar film, but we included it because Meredith is a Disney princess. Merida.
She's not Meredith.
Merida. Is a Disney princess.
Yes.
That's why we included Brave.
Yes.
Brave, I thought was very predictable in where the story was going. I didn't like it too much. I think it's an average movie. It's 22nd out of 27 for me.
It's fine.
It's fine?
It's fine.
Well, when we do our Pixar movie rankings, it will probably be near the bottom.
I like that they're going to different places. You know, it's like, oh, we'll go to Scotland. Oh, we'll go to Norway with Frozen. Oh, we're gonna go to the Pacific Islands for Moana. Just keep that up, you know? It looks like the new one coming out
It's in China.
Is in China, or
somewhere
around there.
Yeah.
Asian in some way. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen a trailer for it.
I think there is a trailer, but I haven't watched it.
I haven't seen the trailer. What's wrong with me?
The dragon in the poster looks like one of those Chinese dragons that are in the street fair thing.
Sure.
I think, I'm not an expert, but that's what I get the vibe from.
Okay, you already gave its rating, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Next, we have Wreck-It Ralph from 2012. I saw this one on a school trip.
I like Wreck-It Ralph a lot. I don't think it's a great movie. Like, it's not one of those Oscar movies, you know. I think there's some dumb humor in it.
Yes.
But it works for the movie. And I like the story a lot. I like all the video games, obviously. I feel like
the video game references are fantastic. I love Vanellope von Schweetz.
Yeah. And I gave it an entertaining, and it's 11th out of 27 for me.
Sure. Next, we have Frozen from 2013.
I think Frozen is a little overrated, honestly, with how much people seem to love it. I think it has a lot of pop appeal, especially with Let It Go. And in Frozen 2, you can clearly see they tried to do that again, less successfully without other song in it. I feel like it has a good soundtrack, and the story's kind of whatever. I think the soundtrack in Frozen 1's better than the story, and then the story in Frozen 2 is better than the soundtrack.
Yes,
but we can.
Lots of people have that opinion.
But I think Frozen's a average story with a great soundtrack, and I do like the characters. I gave it entertaining, and it's 13th out of 27.
All right. Next, we have a movie you'd never seen before,
Nope.
and you really didn't want to watch this movie.
No.
Big Hero 6.
Okay, I didn't want to watch it because I thought it was gonna be sad. It's not that sad. Yeah.
It's sad in the beginning.
Yeah, compared to other Disney films, it's not that sad.
I was crying. You know, it's me.
It's based on a Marvel comic, which is interesting.
Disney was like, "We'll get Marvel, all right, and now, let's go."
Yeah. I thought it was an excellent film. I gave it an excellent. I think there's some parts that are maybe drag on a little bit, or maybe are just a little more heavy story-wise. You know,
Yeah.
like it's touching in a way that Fox and the Hound might be. You're like, I don't know if I want to sit through this like often. You know,
Oh, I'd watch it again.
but I think it's an excellent movie. It's very well made, but I put it in 10th place out of 27 because it is a little heavy for me.
I love that they even put in the Stan Lee cameo. I love
Mhm.
that it's such a good movie. I wish they would make a sequel. I know that there's the TV show, but I can't stand the art style. It's a problem for me. I know. I realize that they can't use the same art or the same CGI
Yeah,
and how
can't-
great it
yeah, it
looks
can't be
for
that
like
quality,
a TV
yeah.
show. But man,
it's a drawing.
It's different.
Yeah.
All right. Next we have Zootopia from 2016.
This one might be the one that people disagree with me the most about, I think, maybe. Zootopia is a great movie. It has one of the best stories in a Disney movie. It doesn't have songs. Like, it's not a musical. There is a song that Shakira's character, the Giselle, sings.
Giselle, the
Try Everything is
the
what...
gazelle.
Yeah. Is the name of the song, but it's not a musical, really, you know?
No.
It has a great story. I didn't actually see the twist coming when I first saw it. It was captivating that much. It's not as predictable as, like, Brave is. I really like all the characters. It's my third favorite film out of all these 27. It's an excellent movie.
I love Nick.
Yeah.
Favorite character. I don't think I would have put it as high, personally. Like, it's a great movie and I love it, but I don't think I would have put it as high, personally. Next, we have Mosna. We have Moana from 2016.
Moana, I think, is a fine movie.
This is where the hate comes.
It's 15th out of 27, and I gave it an entertaining. I think Moana shows that Lin-Manuel Miranda can write one song.
How dare you!
He's a great songwriter, and I love like the entire Hamilton soundtrack, and all the songs he writes are entertaining, but you can clearly tell who wrote it when he writes it. I think Moana it might be one of those movies where the story is supposed to be meaningful, and the humor is dumb. Kind of like my Brother Bear situation. The chicken is so entertaining.
The chicken, Hey is great.
But he's an idiot.
Love the actor.
Yeah, the Juilliard trained actor plays Hey the chicken.
Yes.
In this movie, which is hilarious.
He's like, I went to Juilliard for this.
Alan Tudyk, ain't it?
Alan Tudyk.
Great guy. He's the redhead in Knight's Tale.
He's in Knight's Tale. He's in Firefly. He's in a ton of stuff.
Yeah, he's great. I think it's a good movie, and the songs are good. I was just joking about the Lin-Manuel Miranda. It doesn't hurt the movie.
How dare you?
But I do think maybe there's an unevenness with like some of its humor in the story it's trying to tell. And I don't know if I really like The Rock's character.
What are you talking about?
I like the song. I like the song he sings, but I don't know if I like him as much as I like some other characters in some of these other movies.
Well, he's a trickster.
Yeah.
He's kind of like an anti-hero in some ways.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because he stole the heart of Te Fiti, and he wants to be the guy that like is big man.
Maybe it comes down to, and I'm gonna get hate for this. I know I'm gonna get hate for this. I don't see the appeal of The Rock as much as other people do. He's fine, but I don't see his appeal.
You mean as an actor?
Yeah, I don't know why people are like, man, The Rock's in this. I gotta go see it. I don't know how.
Listen, The Rock's in everything.
Yeah, I don't know how
he's
he's
in
a
a
huge
lot of
movie star.
movies.
He's fine.
I think he did a great job with this. It's so different from his other roles, in my opinion. Either he plays like the stupid dumb guy, or like the big muscle dude action hero.
I think. What's his name in this movie?
Maui.
I think he's a stupid muscle dude. That's him in this movie. And I don't really dig it.
I don't know. I think it's great.
I think it's middle of the road out of these 40.
How dare you? But, it's hard because I love so many Disney movies. That's why I can't rank them. I can't put a rank on these movies. I just go, why would you put it so low? But, like,
and
I'm
then you're
sure
like, oh, yep, that
if I were to, like, list it out, which I never would because I don't think you can compare movies that way. I would, like, put ties and, like, be like, oh, well, this one's really good. I can't do that. Especially, like, these are so different. There's so many of these that are different. And they all have their fantastic points.
What? I'll take that back.
Okay, most of them have fantastic points, and I've got nostalgia tied to a lot of these. Other ones, I'm like, man, this is new, but I love it, and I connect with so many of these characters. It's just really hard for me to put labels on it of, well, this one's number 1, this one's number 2.
Well, speaking of labels, best of the revival era is gonna have to go to Zootopia, while worst of the revival era has to go to Brave.
You didn't write that on here.
I know, I forgot to type a lot of stuff on this one document.
Okay, and you misspelled Moana.
Yeah. Well, now I'm going to break out the master list. We're going to start from the back. I'm going to read them. This is the official Alex from Nerds at Odds list of the Disney animated films from 46 to 1.
And I'm just going to let him talk. Have fun.
46, Chicken Little. 45, Sword in the Stone. 44, Dumbo. 43, Alice in Wonderland. 42, Home on the Range. 41, Snow White.
How dare you?
40, Jungle Book. 39, Bambi.
How dare you?
38, Robin Hood. 37, Black Cauldron. 36, Dinosaur. 35, Peter Pan. 34, Pinocchio. 33, The Great Mouse Detective. 32, 101 Dalmatians. 31, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
How dare
30,
you?
Brother Bear.
29,
The Rescuers. 28, Sleeping Beauty. 27, Brave. 26, Bolt. 25, Princess and the Frog.
How dare you?
24, Lilo and Stitch. 23, Atlantis.
How dare you?
22, Pocahontas. 21, Cinderella. 20, Fox and the Hound. 19, Aristocats. 18, Meet the Robinsons. 17, Moana. 16, Tangled. 15, Frozen. 14, Beauty and the Beast.
How dare you?
13, Wreck-It Ralph. 12, Big Hero 6. 11, Hercules. 10, Treasure Planet. 9, Lady and the Tramp. 8, Emperor's New Groove. 7, The Little Mermaid.
How dare you?
6, Oliver and Company. 5, Mulan. 4, Tarzan. 3, Zootopia. 2, Aladdin. And number 1 Disney animated film, The Lion King. Was that good for you?
Well, you heard what I had to say.
I think we can both agree that the worst movie is Chicken Little.
It's either Chicken Little or Sword in the Stone. Both are bad.
And we're both going to agree that Lion King, top 5.
It's good movie.
Top 5.
Again, not ranking.
Yeah. I guess we'll have to come back and update this list if Raya comes out in March.
Sure. Well, maybe we'll post your master list
On Patreon?
on Patreon, and then we'll be like, oh, well, we'll put this in here all,
Yeah.
sort of thing. But yeah, I can't wait to do the sequels one with you. That'll be fun to sit you through all
Here's
those.
Here's a question. Do you think Chicken Little's going to be the worst after we put the sequel movies in here as well?
That's a hard one.
That's a hard one?
You haven't seen Atlantis 2.
Oh.
Listen, the animation's bad for a lot of the sequels. They can't usually get the voice actors back. It's just a bad time.
Yeah, so we'll do that eventually. I mean, we have a Pixar animated films we have to do.
We got Pixar,
live action
we
Disney.
Live action Disney. We got sequels. Yeah. We've got live action adaptations of video game
movies. Yeah. So we have a lot planned. Next week, though, we're going to do a According to BuzzFeed episode, a light episode between these two-parters and the Christmas episode two-parter that's going to come out the following week after that.
Yes.
Where we're going to look up some interesting BuzzFeed quizzes and give them to each other. So that's going to be next week's episode.
I already have some ideas.
Yeah.
I think, maybe we should do like 10 each, because sometimes the BuzzFeed quizzes are very short.
Yeah, we'll see how many we can fit in. We'll go back and forth until we hit like an hour, and then we'll be like, okay, that's where we're going to stop this one. So that should be fun, and the Christmas episodes are definitely going to be worth listening to, because we're going to go through the movies that's up on Patreon. You can see the list over there, our songs, what we like to eat, our favorite gifts. It's going to be a huge blowout for Christmas. It's going to be a two-parter.
We updated the Christmas movies list. We've included The Family Man.
And we took out Gremlins.
Yeah, because Gremlins is, it happens around, it's like...
it's Die Hard.
It's like Die Hard. It happens around Christmas. Christmas doesn't really affect the movie that much.
Yeah. So that's what we have coming out in the upcoming weeks. So now let's get on into Kita's Corner. What does Kita want us to know this week?
Kita would like to remind everyone to spay and neuter your pets and to adopt from a pet shelter whenever possible. And I know since Christmas is coming up, people are gonna... I've seen it on Facebook already, people going, I want a puppy for Christmas. I want to find a puppy for my kid. And then if... You can't just get a puppy and then be like, here you go, and then not take care of it. So please, if you do get a dog or a cat or whatever it is, please take care of it. Keep it inside, especially during the winter. It gets very cold where we are.
Gonna snow this weekend.
So take care of your pets, and Kita wants more turkey immediately.
Yes. Yeah, so... Now into the interesting fact, which is one I read about while researching some of these films. And the interesting fact is that Merlin and Sword of the Stone is based off of Walt Disney, who the animators at Disney Studios felt had become too caught up in running the Disney quote-unquote empire and had failed to pay enough attention to the animation studio's needs. They felt like he had become very hands-off, so if you watch how Merlin acts in Sword of the Stone, that's how the animators thought Walt Disney was towards the company.
I suppose.
Awful
and then just like up and leaving.
Yeah.
For no good reason. Very interesting.
Yeah. Doesn't make it less of a bad film.
We need to watch that Walt Disney like bio.
Saving Mr. Banks?
No, that's about Mary Poppins. We also need to watch that. But I think it's called Walt. It's just called Walt. And it's about like the making, like the startup of the Disney Corporation. And he was working for these other people, and he had made like some iconic characters. And then they were like, yeah, these are ours. You can't have these. So he had to start from the ground up. And he actually came up with Mickey Mouse's, which is one of the most iconic cartoon characters in the world.
Is it weird that Disney has never made a theatrically released Mickey Mouse film?
No, I think it's because it was like, they had the shorts that were usually before movies, and then it just sort of became like a cartoon thing on TV, and then once you do that, it's kind of hard to do with was the Three Musketeers, that wasn't theatrically released?
Nah.
I remember that one fondly.
Oh, maybe it wasn't a Disney animated movie. Like, a Disney animated studios probably didn't make it.
No, I think there's a different animation.
Well, it seems weird that the characters you know from Disney, like Donald Duck, Goofy, Mickey Mouse, have never had a theatrically released movie about them. You know? It seems like something Disney might want to get into.
Perhaps.
Maybe,
I think it's too late.
Maybe they could do an adaptation of the Kingdom's hot storyline. Put that out.
It would be like 5 hours long and everyone would be confused. According to our friend Jamie.
Yeah. So anything else you want to tell the listeners before we head on out for the day?
Definitely rate the show.
Yeah, rate the show wherever you listen to it. And if you're going to yell at us, please watch the movies first. Yeah. Again, as an adult, to remind yourself.
We honestly thought with Robin Hood that it was going to be great because we remembered it so fondly. And then we watch it again and it's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's not. And please, if you do like the show, you can just tweet at us, you know, let us know.
Unless you think Chicken Little's a good movie. Don't want your kind.
I'm sure some people grew up with Chicken Little and they go, it's
I had the
movie.
Game Boy game for Chicken Little.
They made some weird games.
Yeah.
But, please just let us know if you're listening. Instagram, Twitter, on YouTube if you watch the videos.
Yeah. On Patreon if you want to become a part of the community.
Yeah.
You can get in the community for $1.
We got a Discord.
Yeah, Discord comes with the Patreon membership.
Mm-hmm.
So check that out. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Bye.
Nerds at Odds is made possible by our supporters over on patreon.com/nerdsatodds. If you want to become a member of our community and gain access to the show 4 days early, gain the ability to submit your questions, comments, and concerns, and so much more, consider supporting us over there. Thank you, and have a great day.